Ahoy there, and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have issue 93 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. This one looks fiddly, is what it looks like. We are building the first crane for our deck. Now this one comes with what I believe is a pair of tweezers. Let's open and have a look, which suggests fiddliness. If they're giving you tweezers, they're preempting you for, yeah, this is going to be fiddly. Let's have a look what it actually comes with. Yeah, it does. Well, it's a little pair of pliers. But, you know, okay. It is what it is. We'll take a look at it. Maybe it's just that it looks scarier than it is. This is, believe it or not, the 2-year anniversary. So we have been building this for 2 years now. 2 years today, we started this one, which is remarkable. But this is the last ones of the year. So we're going up to 96 today. That's it for 2023. We're done. And then, all things permitting, as long as we have no strikes, pandemics, or anything else that can mess this up, we will be finished by October of next year. And Titanic will be ready to start a maiden voyage for us. So it should be good. If you haven't, please remember to like and subscribe. At the end of this, we'll be having our Titanic talk, and we'll be talking about coal. I've got something to show you, so that'll be fun. Without further ado, let's get this one open. Let's get this one built. Okay, so this is what we get in 93. These are quite nice. Yeah, these have got some weight to them, which is reassuring. But these look quite nice. Now, I would imagine we're going to need these for a lot. So, rigging and things like that, I would imagine these are going to get a lot of use. But they're quite nice. They're oiled as well, which is nice. Excellent. Okay, so we got those. Let's see what else we have in here. We have whatever these are, HP screws. What's inside the mystery bag? We have the world's smallest pins and wires in there. Right, yeah, I'm not messing around with that. Let's get those back in the box. Those are bloody tiny. Yep, this is going to be a fiddly one because I can barely see those. Wowee. Yeah, this one's going to be... this one's going to be interesting. See, I can't even pick that up. That's how small that is. Wow. Okay. And in this one... Well, this has got to be the guts of the actual crane then, surely, because... There we go. So there's our actual crane pieces. This one's going to be interesting, isn't it? I can see obscenities in the very near future. Right, let's have a look at what we're doing. Let's get this one put together. Okay, so these are the pieces we're working with. So we're working with this piece here. We'll need this piece. And we need the longest of the 3. Now that is going to sit over there like so. This is so tiny. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put in 93E, which is the connection pin. Yeah, this looks like this is going to be a lot of fun. Right. Okay, which way around is this going to go? Like so. Right. So like this. This is supposed to fit over there. Oh, it does. It does. That wasn't too... Okay, that wasn't too difficult. Okay, so that goes over there like so. So that's how you'd be looking. So that's that part done. Well, that wasn't terrible. I think I've just been lulled into false sense of security, but that wasn't terrible. We're now going to connect this piece to this piece here. So taking this piece, this should attach like so, I believe. I got that right around. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So this should... Is this glue? No, it's push to fit. Okay, it's push to fit. let's use our, there we go. There we have it. All right, so that's that piece squeezed together. Okay, so that's how we're looking at this point. Again, I still think I've been lulled here because it seems to be going way too easy, and I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, here's where the fun's going to begin. We got tiny, tiny pins to go in. Right, so we're going to be attaching the crane arm to this, and we have these two tiny metal pins. And we are using the longer, thankfully, of the two to begin with. So we're going to take our crane arm here, and that is going to sit. That's going to sit in there. Okay. Okay, all right, I can see what's happening here. Right. Now we're going to try and get the we're going to try and get the pin through there. Right, okay. Right, let's get this pin ready. Okay, so this is the pin we're using. And this should... There's no bloody way. Funds are coming. Right. Oh dear. Right, okay, this is the okay, let's try that again. Let's try going. Okay, let's see if this actually fits through there. Let's take a run at this. Okay, so we got it. It's not the easiest thing to do. So what I did was I put the pin into this section first, just a little bit so it held in place, lined it up, pushed it in, and then when we got it all the way through, gave it a squeeze just to lock it in place. I mean, I could get that to go through a little bit more, but I'm actually happy where it is. I'm aware that I think if you put too much pressure on this, you're going to break it, and I don't want to do that. So that's how we're now looking. Something tells me, again, we still haven't got to the hard part yet. Something tells me this is still the bloody easy part. And, well, I'd be right. Annoyingly, I'd be right. So, Christ, this is going to be fun. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this wire here. And that has got to line up with the hole there. Like so. Can you see that? So that's where that's going to go. Christ. Right. And now we need the smaller pieces, the hook and whatnot, to go in there. Right, so let's get those ready. Okay, so this is not going to be easy. But what we've got to do is we've got to put the wire through there. Like so. Then the washer. The washer's going to go in there, and the hook is going to sit on top of that, like so, and then we're going to put the pin through all three of them. There's no way. Right, so let's see how we're going to do this. Let's figure this out, because as it stands right now, there's no bloody way that's going to work. It's got to, but I can't see how. Now I'm thinking we put the pin through first, and then we start threading stuff onto the pin. That makes more sense to me. May the odds be ever in your favour when you're doing this one, everyone else. Trust me, I think modelling glasses are an absolute bloody necessary here. Christ. Right, I'm going to have to put the huge modelling goggles on and see what we can do. Okay, so that's not easy, but we've got it in. The other thing you got to do is, with the remaining 2 wires, one goes this side and one goes this side, and you'll end up with something looking like that. So they go clip over the eye holes there, and then into the base there. So it looks very pretty, but it is very, 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 very fiddly. Now taking this piece over here, we're going to attach our crane to this. This is push to fit. So we're going to push that all the way through. And then we are going to see, oh, bloody crane wires coming loose. It's going to happen. And then we're going to put a single screw in the bottom here. So let's get that screw ready and let's get this screwed in. Okay, so we're going to take a single screw there. We're going to pop that into the bottom here. And screw this one in. There we go. Well, that's held nicely. Right, so we want this to be able to move. So I don't want it too tight. There we go. So we do want some movement, not loads, but enough. We'll loosen it up. Okay. Pop this one back on. This is going to be a bloody nightmare, this one. I can just see it coming. And now we're going to attach it to the deck. And there is our completed crane. Now, I was going to attach this to the deck, but I've just seen we're doing the exact same thing, kind of, more or less, in the next issue. So rather than bring the deck up to put the deck down to bring the deck back up, I'm going to wait until the end of 94, and then we'll add them both to the deck in that one. Let's have a chat. So that's that one complete. Now, it's fiddly, is what it is. That's the best way to describe it. I mean, you can see our little crane here. It looks lovely. Looks lovely, but it's fiddly. It's awkward, is what it is. It's not impossible, you know, so don't be thinking, oh God, it's fiddly, it's time consuming when you're trying to line things up, and it can be a little frustrating, but other than that, it's simple enough. It's not overly complicated. Take your time with it. Don't try and force anything, because if you force something, you're going to snap something. That's what's going to happen. So there's a lot of trial and error. You think it's lined up, it hasn't lined up. You think a pin's gone in, hasn't gone in. So it's frustrating is what it is. But it's done. Now, we've not added that to the deck yet, and the reason why is because it means having to bring the deck up, to fit that, to put the deck back down, to build the next one, to bring the deck back up, so we're not doing that. So we're going to build the next one in issue 94. Then we'll bring the deck up and we'll add them to it. That's all for the build instructions. So if you are just sticking around with the build instructions, thank you for stopping by, for sticking around for our Titanic talk. We're talking about coal. Now, there was tons of coal on Titanic. A lot of it. That's why we're talking about coal, because I got something for Christmas. I'm going to show you what in a minute. But when the Titanic split in half, pretty much where the boiler rooms were and the coal as well, just spewed out. So coal was absolutely flying out of the Titanic as it split and as it went down. So if you've watched any of the documentaries about expeditions to the Titanic wreck, you will see they actually use coal, almost like Hansel and Gretel leaving breadcrumbs, to find Titanic. It's quite difficult to find it when they're down there. It's not as easy as just being bam, we're straight on it. They go down, they find the coal, they follow the coal, they find Titanic. So typically there's about a 6 mile square radius of just coal. It's all over the floor. So there's lots of it. So it was kind of seen as fair game for salvage. So when the initial expeditions, the deep sea expeditions with probes went down there in the early 90s, they were collecting coal from the floor, because you're not breaching the wreck to do that. It's just there. And there's a lot of it. So I was lucky enough for Christmas, my wife bought me coal. So what you're looking at there is a piece of coal salvaged from the floor of the Titanic wreck in 1994. Now, this was done to fund further expeditions to them. So again, I'm okay with this. I'm quite funny with them taking stuff off the wreck, because I mean, ultimately it is a burial site, and it can be seen as grave robbing. But this is coal that's surrounding the area. No one's actually breached the wreckage to get this. It's not like the big piece. The big piece is polarizing, because one, we get to see the big piece, and you know, for our own curiosity, we can see what it looked like. But they did do quite a lot of damage to bring the big piece up. If you don't know what the big piece is, it's this. So it's known as the big piece, and it caused more damage than it should have, right? It caused a lot of damage to the wreckage. And as a result of that, salvage and taking things, a conversation was had. So no more is being brought up. Nothing else is being brought up. But at the moment, they are trying, and I knew this was going to happen, they are trying to come to a compromise about bringing things up from the wreckage. The reason for that is the 3D scans that we saw. All of a sudden, people can see where things are. So the thing that's piqued most people's interest is the megalodon tooth. So there's a necklace with a megalodon tooth on, and you can see exactly where it is. You wouldn't need to breach the wreckage to get to it, but they can see it sat there, and they want it. Even though the agreement's been made that nothing is going to be brought up from the wreckage, now all of a sudden that people can clearly see where things are, bottles of champagne and things like that, they want to go and get them. No, it should stay where it is, but they want to go get them, and this is what's going to happen. So I'm funny about that. I don't think that's okay. Coal, it's all around the floor. It's spewed out of the top. So nothing's been breached. Nothing at all has been breached. But when it comes to personal artifacts, I just think they need to stay where they are. I just do. I think that's where they are. That's where they should be. But again, the greed's kicked in. So when people are seeing things that looks like a jewelry box, all of a sudden they want to get down there and they want to get to it. It can't just be a free for all. It can't. Hopefully that doesn't happen. No more coal has been brought up from the floor of the Titanic, but a lot of it was brought up in the early 90s, which is why you're able to you can get very small pieces in key rings and things like that. And in the early 90s, you get coal, big lumps of coal. Now, not so much. They broke them down. So, you know, everyone can kind of have one and they can make their money from it so they can fund further research. But that is exactly what that is. It's a piece of coal. Now, what the funny thing is, a lot of people that have seen this are like, what? And they don't get it. They really don't get it. Like, why would you want coal? Well, because it's I mean, I don't want coal. But that piece of coal there was on board the Titanic when it set sail. It was on board the Titanic when it hit the iceberg. It sank with the Titanic, and it sat on the bottom of the ocean for nearly 100 years. It's a relic. It's a piece of history, and I'm very happy to have it. I really am. And it's going to look fantastic with our ship when she's built. But that's the story of the Titanic coal. But I mean, that's I can show you a picture. Look, there's coal everywhere. Look. So yeah, they use it as a beacon. They say when you start seeing coal, you know you're on the right track to Titanic. So it's it's a remarkable thing, and I wasn't expecting it. So I'm ridiculously happy with it, and it will be going in my display with a few other bits and pieces that I've got. I've got the soap from the Titanic, so that will be going in there. I would very much like to get the whistle. There's you can get a whistle. Now they are authentic Titanic ones, but they are made from the exact same cast that the original Titanic whistles were made from. So it is as was. So it might not be one from the Titanic, but it's made from the original mold that those whistles were made from. So the one is the one that was used on the Titanic. I'd like one of those. I want to get a replica of the key. You can get the binocular box key because that exists. So a lot of replicas were made, so it's exactly the same as that key. And just little things that I want to put with my Titanic display. But this will be pride of place. It really will be. That's all for this one. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be back very, very soon with issue 94 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. We'll build another crane and we'll be adding them to the deck. Then we have got an absolutely humongous piece of keel coming up. The biggest individual piece we've had to date. It's bloody massive. And that will be added to our hull. Looking forward to that one. That's in 95. And then we have some more hull in 96. So exciting stuff coming up, and those will all be coming up today very shortly. Thank you for stopping by. You can contact us at buildingtheboys@outlook.com with any queries, questions, any, hey, look what I'm doing. We're always interested to see your work. That's all from me. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And I'll see you very, very soon for the next part of Build the Titanic. I will see you then.